You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Startling moment at NIU's men's basketball game. Good evening, I'm Karina Parada. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Emily Neely. Dan Kenny is with us now to tell us what happened Saturday.
Thanks, Emily. Believe me when I say there were more than a few startled spectators at the Convocation Center when that happened. But we're being reassured that there is not too much to worry about. NIU's Athletics Communication Director, Donna Turner, told us in many words, things break sometimes. It happens. It also happened in the second half of the Huskies game against Central Michigan. NIU center Pete Rakosevich took what looks to be a pass and turned into an uncontested dunk and hung onto the rim for just a few seconds too long. Sometimes you see the glass shatter in situations like this, but nobody expected the entire mechanical hoop and backboard to collapse. A Central Michigan player who was making an inbounds pass just managed to duck out of the way, thankfully. We're told that it was a pin, yes, a pin, that holds the hoop mechanism in place as it's raised up, sheared off, and that pin has been replaced. And that hopefully should fix the problem. Barely 1,500 people were actually at the game over the weekend. But that video has gone absolutely viral. It actually led ESPN Sports Center Saturday night and has been seen more than 250,000 times on YouTube.
Thanks, Dan. With smartphones, we have texting and social media right at our fingertips, but some people like things the old-fashioned way.
Here's why some people are using radios to talk with each other.
Mike Heiderscheit spends most nights in his basement, talking to friends over the radio. Mike is a ham radio operator. Mike has been doing ham radio since 1977, and he has the awards to show for it. But to Mike, the most rewarding thing about ham radio is the experience itself.
My son-in-law, who by the way is 48 years old, but he thinks this is nonsense. He can communicate anywhere in the world with his iPod or phone or whatever you call it. But he's not doing it by voice. He's doing it by texting.
Mike thinks ham radio offers something smartphones don't.
How many people can get on a telephone and talk all at the same time?
Mike and his friend Bob try to talk a few nights a week.
Well, it's just in Waterman, Mike. It's only 0 here in DeKalb.
Ham radio helps them connect with the world around them.
It's still fascinating and an interesting hobby because you can talk all over the world or local, either way, and it's marvelous equipment.
His equipment might look unfamiliar to younger generations, but Mike thinks everyone could learn valuable skills from ham radio, himself included. Someday, Mike wants to know enough to be an extra class operator, the highest recognition in amateur radio. But for now, he's happy doing just what he's doing.
This is WD9GNX going QRT. Good night, all.
In Waterman, Emily Neely, NTC News.
If you'd like to get your own amateur radio license, Kishwaukee Amateur Radio Club holds an exam every other month.
Their website is karc-club.org.
Students who use childcare at NIU might have to find a new daycare. These are signs that state funding could run as little as 3 weeks. The shutdown would affect 6 centers in DeKalb County. In order to keep the program running, the state has to pass a budget of $278 million. Governor Bruce Ronnoch doesn't want to pass new budgets and instead wants to move money around within the budget.
Staff about what we could do differently than what we are already doing. The challenge is that we all programs, all providers, whether you're a home provider or a center-based provider, licensed or unlicensed, we all work on a month-to-month budget because the amount of money that we get.
But the month-to-month money won't be there.
Sycamore City Council members are meeting tonight to vote on taking over a house for a proposed sober living home. DeKalb County officials want to convert this property on East State Street into a home for male drug addicts and alcoholics in the Drug and DUI Court Program. leaders with the city of Sycamore want the county to look elsewhere, preferably on property it already owns.
The city of DeKalb is seeking proposals for a nonprofit tenant. The city is looking for someone to move into this building on Grove Street. It was left vacant by the moving of elder care services. New leases should continue DeKalb's practice of not requiring rent payments. Proposals are due before the mid-month deadline. DeKalb City Council will award leases at the end of April.
Even with the bitter cold, some ice cream shops stay open all winter.
NTC's Ryan Mack shows us how a few shops are still serving demand for frozen treats.
Employees at Ollie's Frozen Custard are hard at work. Just recently, the sign outside the business read closed for the winter. But now that spring is only 1 month away, dessert shops like this one are reopening. However, some parlors remain open over the winter. La Michoacana opened in November of 2014 and has noticed a major benefit of staying open in the winter months.
Once another shop closes, I guess we get their clients, which is good in a way. So we survive that way, I believe.
Although this helps gain some customers in the cold season, Luis Hernandez is looking toward the future. He says while business continues to be doing well in the winter months, he's very excited for the summer.
It's good. So that let us know that I have a really good feeling for summer. So winter is good, so summer gotta be bad.
While La Michoacana has only been open for a few months, dessert shop Aspen Leaf Frozen Yogurt has been in business since 2012. Customers still come and enjoy the tasty desserts, even with the reduced hours in the winter. But the yogurt parlor has always kept its doors open and has seen an upside in doing so.
We definitely don't see as many customers, but over the past 2 years since we've been open, or 3 now, there has been like an increase during the winter months.
Of course, whether it's 90 degrees or 10 below zero, customers with a sweet tooth will always scream for ice cream. In DeKalb for NTC News, I'm Ryan Mack.
Sometimes you need to satisfy your sweet tooth regardless of the weather. Before we go any further, let's take a look at our weather window for today and tomorrow.
Emery Dhanens is here now. Are we going to be held up inside with our banana splits much longer?
Unfortunately, yes. We might have to wait until next weekend to enjoy those cold treats outside. Tomorrow, though, we have some very serious weather coming our way, so let's take a look at that. Tomorrow, we'll see temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, and we'll expect a wintry mix of precipitation, including snow, freezing rain, and sleet. For more details on tomorrow's hazardous weather, stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying the warmer weather that we've seen today. And although it is a little bit warmer, we're still much below average for this time of year. Our high of about 25 today felt pretty good. It was sunny out there, a little bit breezy, so it was a little bit not quite that warm, but it still felt pretty good. Hopefully you enjoyed that, because like I mentioned, we have some dangerous weather heading our way this evening and into tomorrow. So tonight we'll see clouds and snow build into our area as this cold front moves southeastward towards us, and by tomorrow morning we'll see that snow transition into freezing rain, and throughout the day tomorrow we'll see this warm front move upwards, bringing that rain to our area. So Tuesday morning we'll start off with snow, move to freezing rain, and then to rain. So it'll be very dangerous out there. And because of these wintry conditions, we are in a winter weather advisory for tomorrow. The northeastern part of Illinois and much of Wisconsin is in a winter weather advisory in effect tomorrow from 3 a.m. until noon on Tuesday. And taking it back to tonight, we'll see cloudy conditions with that snow beginning after midnight. We have an overnight low of about 20 degrees, but we see winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour, so it'll feel colder than that. And then Tuesday, we're dreading Tuesday. It's not going to be fun. We'll see mostly cloudy conditions and that wintry mix that we talked about. So it'll start early on Tuesday morning with snow transitioning to freezing rain, and then later on in the day it'll transition again into rain. And not only do we have all of that nonsense, we'll see gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour, so that 35-degree temperature won't be very enjoyable for Tuesday. But by Tuesday night, the system should be tapering off and we'll see mostly cloudy conditions with an overnight low of about 8. But we do have those winds still strong, gusting to 25 miles per hour, so that overnight low will feel more like -3. But we do have some good news in the long run. Again, on Tuesday, we have that wintry mix, so be sure if you have to go out Tuesday, especially for the early morning hours, be sure to leave early, walk slow, drive slow, whatever you have to do to keep yourself safe. And then on Tuesday night, we'll have a cold front coming through our area, which will bring colder temperatures for Wednesday and Thursday. But as we near spring break this weekend, we'll be seeing temperatures getting up past freezing for Saturday. So hopefully those above freezing temperatures stick around for the rest of our spring break next week. That's all for weather. Let's send it back to the desk.
A new proposal from state reps to help fight heroin abuse.
Amtrak is criticizing the governor's budget cuts. Here's what's happening in today's state lines.
Several Illinois lawmakers plan to propose bipartisan legislation to combat growing heroin and prescription drug abuse. The legislation would require drugs combating heroin overdoses to be dispensed and administered more widely.
Governor Bruce Rauner's proposed budget would cut 40% from Illinois funding for Amtrak trains. Passenger numbers and ticket revenues have grown during the past 5 years. Amtrak says the proposed cuts would mean cuts in service.
A Des Plaines alderman is in trouble after he apparently walked unannounced into a resident's home over a snow shoveling ticket. The alderman says he intended to speak with the homeowners about a ticket they received for not shoveling their sidewalk. He's been charged with trespassing.
Peoria police have plans to expand use of a gunshot detection system. They're using what's called shot spotter technology in a 3-square-mile area. The technology alerts police about when and where someone is firing a weapon. And that's today's State Lines.
Protests in Moscow after an opposition leader is killed.
And Israel's prime minister comes to the United States to speak before Congress. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Tens of thousands of people joined a march through Moscow over the weekend. They're protesting the killing of prominent opposition leader Boris Nemtsov. Nemtsov was a strong critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and some of his allies have accused the Kremlin of being involved in his killing.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived in the U.S. to begin a controversial 2-day trip. Netanyahu is expected to speak before Congress and criticize U.S.-led negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. The White House and many Democrats say it's inappropriate for a foreign leader to counter the president's foreign policy in such a high-profile forum.
Police say they arrested the leader of a drug gang in west central Mexico. They say Servando Gomez heads the notorious Knights Templar Dark Cartel. The Mexican government has accused it of involvement in drug trafficking, killings, kidnapping, and extortion.
The killing of a homeless man by Los Angeles police has been caught on tape. Police say they confronted a man outside a homeless shelter. The man was suspected of robbery and started fighting with police. Investigators say the man tried to reach for the officer's gun. And that's today's World Watch.
Hello again, everyone. Dan Kenny back for NTC Sports. Let's take a look back to our top story from Saturday night's NIU's basketball game. Center Pete Rakosovic gets the post pass, slams the two-handed jam that not only scored NIU 2 points, but sent the hoop going down to the ground on one epic slam. Wow. For those of you who actually care about the final score, NIU won by a final of 73-55. Eric Armstead led the Huskies with 15 points and added 4 rebounds. Anthony Johnson put up 12 points and led the game with 6 assists, and Aaron Armstead added 11 more points and had a game-high 2 steals. It was Latin Day, and Los Bulls welcomed the LA Clippers to town. Let's see if there were any basketball hoops getting torn down in this matchup. The Bulls really struggle to contain Chris Paul as he cha-chas through the defense and drops this little floater in for two. Jimmy Butler grabs this rebound and feeds the Spanish-speaking Nikola Mirotic as he throws down this big slam. The basketball hoop is still intact, FYI. Here, Joakim Noah's arcing pass finds Mirotic as he throws down another slam. He finishes with a career-high 29 points. But Chris Paul has no chill as he drills this silky smooth jumper. Then, with an opportunity to bury the Bulls, Chris Paul puts the nail in the coffin with another jump shot. The Clippers pull away and win 96-86. Bad news for the Bulls as Jimmy Butler left the game with an injury and will miss at least 3 weeks. LeBron James returns from a one-day layoff as the Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Houston Rockets in an epic showdown. James Harden buckles up his seatbelt and drives to the basket, but gets whacked. Things start to get a little chippy here. James Harden and LeBron get tangled up. Then it looks as if Harden traveled, but then he was fouled, and then they just called the 24-second violation. Rockets turnover with the time running out in OT. LeBron gets fouled near the rim, and all he has to do is hit at least just one of his 2 free throws. He hits none. And Houston comes down with the board as they hold on to defeat the Cavs. Now we're staying in Houston for last night's play of the day. This one actually took place in the first quarter. Jet Terry loses his handle and gets absolutely mauled by LeBron as he shoots down the court and throws down this monster one-handed jam. LeBron gallops like a wild stallion, and Mr. James Harden wants nothing to do with it. That dunk was nice, but I'm sure it's going to be hard for him to sleep after missing those 2 free throws. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. That's all we have for sports. Have a good weekend.
I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Getting pulled over in a traffic stop is rarely a fun experience.
That proves to be the case in an extreme fashion for an Ohio State patrolman. Wow, talk about a close call. Watch this dash cam video. It shows just how dangerous the roads can really be for state troopers. All of a sudden, a trooper hops over the guardrail as a semi sideswipes the patrol car. Police say the trooper stopped to help a stranded driver. That driver says the trooper saved his life. Both escaped with minor injuries. No word on if that truck driver was ever caught.
That is definitely why you shouldn't be in the right lane when you're past a car pulled over.
I mean, definitely, Karina. Taking safety precautions on the road is always a good decision. NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University. We want to thank you all for being with us.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back at the same time Wednesday. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye, everyone.